You already have the power to become wealthy. But your subconscious mind is either building your fortune or silently destroying it. Which one is it doing right now? In this video, we're going to go beyond surface level, think positive advice. I'll show you how to reprogram your subconscious so that wealth stops feeling like a struggle and starts becoming your natural state. If you wish to understand wealth, you must first understand the soil in which it grows, and that soil is your mind. Everything you see in the physical world, every skyscraper, every thriving business, every fortune ever amassed was once nothing more than an idea. The mind is the silent architect, the unseen origin from which all wealth springs before a single coin changes hands, before a single contract is signed. There exists an inner blueprint. That blueprint is not written in ink, but in thought, and the quality of those thoughts determines the quality of the life you live. Your subconscious mind, though invisible, is the most productive piece of real estate you will ever own. It is a seedbed, a place where ideas germinate and grow into habits, behaviors, and eventually results. Yet, like any field, it will grow whatever is planted in it. Plant seeds of abundance, persistence, and vision, and it will yield the fruit of prosperity. Plant seeds of fear, doubt, and limitation, and it will yield the weeds of mediocrity and struggle. Most people fail, not because opportunity was absent, but because they allowed their minds to be overrun by the wrong seeds. The danger is that the subconscious accepts whatever is planted without discrimination. It does not argue, it does not question. It simply takes what you feed it and sets about making it real. If, day after day, you tell yourself money is hard to come by, your subconscious will treat that as an order and make it your reality. If you constantly dwell on bills, debts, and scarcity, you are watering the weeds rather than the crop. And yet the reverse is just as true. If you persistently hold images of wealth, opportunity, and growth, your subconscious will begin arranging the circumstances, thoughts, and impulses that align with those images. This is why the wealthy think differently than the poor, not because they were born with more intelligence, but because they trained their minds to hold a different inner conversation. They understand that thought is cause and wealth is effect. They live with an unwavering inner certainty that abundance is their natural state. That certainty is not arrogance, it is mental conditioning. And like any conditioning, it can be learned. Imagine for a moment that you are a gardener. If you wanted to grow roses, you would never plant thistles. And if thistles appeared by accident, you would remove them before they took over the soil. Yet in our mental gardens, we often allow weeds to flourish unchecked. We entertain thoughts of envy, resentment, and self-doubt, forgetting that each one is a seed capable of strangling our most valuable ideas. Training your subconscious for wealth begins with vigilance, becoming aware of what is being planted in your mind each day, and refusing to give root to thoughts that weaken you. But planting the right seeds is not enough. You must tend to them daily, watering them with repetition, protecting them from the pests of negative influences, and giving them sunlight through constant exposure to inspiring, constructive ideas. The subconscious responds to consistency. A single positive thought tossed into the mind once a week will not alter your results any more than watering a plant once a month will make it flourish. So I urge you, guard your mental soil as fiercely as you would guard a treasure chest. The ideas you allow to take root will one day bear fruit in your bank account, your opportunities, and your quality of life. Choose them wisely, because your mind is not a passive observer. It is the seedbed from which every dollar, every opportunity, and every success will grow. The harvest you seek tomorrow is determined by the seeds you plant today. Plant deliberately, plant abundantly, and never forget. Poverty and wealth are not conditions of the purse. They are conditions of the mind. If you have ever wondered why wealth seems to flow effortlessly to some people, while it slips through the fingers of others, you must first understand that the true barrier is rarely found in the economy, in politics, or in the marketplace. It lies within the mind, more specifically within the beliefs you hold about money, yourself, and what you deserve. These beliefs are not always chosen consciously. Many of them were planted in your subconscious long before you had ability to examine them. As children, we absorb the words, attitudes, and fears of those around us, our parents, teachers, peers. In society at large, over time these impressions crystallize into convictions that silently direct our financial behavior. If those convictions are rooted in scarcity, self-doubt, or fear, then no matter how hard you work, you will find ways to sabotage your own prosperity. Think of your subconscious mind as the autopilot of an airplane. It keeps the plane on course without your conscious mind effort, but if the coordinates are wrong, it will faithfully steer you toward the wrong destination. Beliefs are the coordinates of your life. If you hold deep-seated thoughts like "I'll never be rich," "people like me don't succeed," or "money is evil," your subconscious will filter every opportunity, every decision, and every action through that lens. It will reject paths that contradict the belief and gravitate toward choices that confirm it, even if those choices keep you broke. Reprogramming begins with awareness. You cannot change what you cannot see. This is why honest self-examination is so critical. Pay attention to your self-talk when you think about money. Do you feel unworthy of wealth? Do you secretly resent those who have it? Do you believe that making more requires sacrificing happiness, time, or integrity? These are not harmless thoughts. They are commands you are feeding into your subconscious, and it obeys without question. Once you identify the limiting beliefs, you must replace them not with vague affirmations you barely believe, but with precise, emotionally charged statements that speak directly to the subconscious. Instead of "I want to be rich," you might say, "I am worthy of abundance, and I attract opportunities that multiply my wealth while enriching my life." The difference is more than just words. It is conviction. Your subconscious responds to repetition and emotion, not idle wishes. The reprogramming process is not instant. Just as a river carves its path over years, your current beliefs have been etched deeply into your mental landscape. To redirect that flow, you must persistently reinforce the new beliefs until they feel as natural as the old ones once did. This means surrounding yourself with environments, people, and information that support the wealth mindset you are building. You cannot plant a seed in fertile soil and then keep pouring poison over it by engaging in negative conversations, consuming cynical media, or spending time with those who constantly complain about money. Every financial action you take becomes either a reinforcement of your old beliefs or a confirmation of your new ones. When you save, invest, learn new skills, or seek mentorship, you are telling your subconscious, "I am the kind of person who grows wealth." When you procrastinate, overspend, or avoid opportunities out of fear, you are reinforcing scarcity. Each choice is a vote for the future you desire or the one you fear. Ultimately, reprogramming your beliefs is an act of reclaiming control over your life. You are no longer at the mercy of inherited limitations or the mental conditioning of your past. You are the architect of your financial reality, and the foundation you build begins in your mind. Your prosperity will never exceed your beliefs about what is possible for you. Change the belief and you will change the outcome. The world responds always to the image you hold of yourself. Make that image one of abundance, and life will have no choice but to follow its design. Repetition, my friends, is not merely a mechanical act. It is the sculptor's chisel for the mind. The subconscious does not respond to one-time instructions. It is shaped by persistent, vivid, and emotionally charged input. You cannot plant a seed today, neglect it for weeks, and expect a tree tomorrow. The mind is no different. Each thought spoken with conviction becomes a stroke upon the canvas of your inner world. And when you repeat that thought day after day, week after week, you burn it into the very fibers of your subconscious until it becomes part of who you are. But here's the hidden key. Repetition without emotion is like trying to light a fire. With damp wood, it may smoke to tip, but it will not burn. The subconscious mind is not persuaded by logic alone. It is moved by feeling. Words become powerful only when wrapped in the cloak of strong emotion. That is why affirmations, visualizations, and mental rehearsals work best when you feel the reality of them in your body, as if they are already true. This is not daydreaming. This is emotional imprinting, the conscious act of marrying thought to feeling until they become inseparable. Science now confirms what philosophers have taught for centuries. The brain rewires itself through repeated emotionally charged experiences. If you keep telling yourself, I am always struggling, and you feel the frustration as you say it, you are literally carving that belief into your neural pathways. Conversely, if you declare, wealth flows to me in ever increasing measure while feeling the joy and certainty of that reality, you are training your subconscious to expect it and to seek out actions, opportunities, and behaviors that make it true. Let us be clear. Repetition is not magic without alignment. You cannot spend your morning declaring abundance, then spend your afternoon speaking poverty, worrying about bills, and imagining worst case scenarios. That is like pouring clean water into a cup while also filling it. You'll end up drinking mud. The subconscious is impartial. It accepts whatever you feed it most consistently, whether that food is nourishing or poisonous. The greatest mistake people make is treating this process as a chore, something to be done half-heartedly or hurriedly. Repetition works because it bypasses the conscious gatekeeper, the critical faculty, seeps into the deeper layers of the mind, but that gatekeeper only opens when the input is persistent and backed by emotion. That means your statements and visualizations must not only be daily, but must be charged with belief. If belief feels too far away, start with possibility. Tell yourself it is possible for me to create wealth, and allow your emotions to rise as you imagine it with repetition. Possibility becomes expectation, and expectation becomes reality. In my own observation, those who master wealth building habits are not necessarily those with more intelligence or more luck. They are those who have trained their subconscious through the daily deliberate practice of repetition, emotional engagement. They have embedded a new financial identity so deeply that it feels as natural as breathing. When that happens, wealth ceases to be something you chase, it becomes something you attract, as effortlessly as a magnet draws steel. So let me leave you with this every day, whether you realize it or not. You are repeating something to yourself. You are imprinting beliefs either by design or by default. The question is not whether repetition works, the question is, what are you repeating? If the answer does not serve your highest vision, then today is the day to choose differently, to speak and feel into the life you desire until your subconscious accepts nothing less. For once it does, the world will have no choice but to follow. When you understand how your subconscious works, you realize that thoughts alone are not enough. They must translate into action. The subconscious is like the soil in which your intentions grow, but action is the sunlight, the water, and the daily care that brings the seed to life. Too many people nourish a vision internally, but starve it externally. They rehearse ideas in their mind without ever putting them into motion, and then wonder why their life does not change. The truth is, your inner programming only becomes powerful when you use it to steer your behavior in the real world. The bridge between the unseen and the seen is decisive, consistent action. Action is the language the universe understands. You can meditate on wealth, affirm abundance, and visualize prosperity every day. But if you are not taking deliberate steps toward your goals, you are sending your subconscious a mixed message. You're saying, I want this, but your inactivity whispers, I'm not ready for it. The subconscious responds to congruence when your thoughts, emotions, and actions all point in the same direction. This alignment creates a force of momentum that is nearly impossible to stop. Decisive action is not reckless action. It is action guided by clarity. When you have trained your mind to see opportunities, your next step is to move toward them without hesitation. The longer you delay, the more you allow fear and external noise to cloud the signal your subconscious has prepared. For you, a trained subconscious delivers insights, nudges, and intuitive ideas. But it is your responsibility to act on them while they are still alive with energy. This is why procrastination is one of the most dangerous habits for someone who wants to build wealth. Procrastination is not harmless delay. It is the slow death of possibility. Every moment you postpone decisive action, you weaken the belief your subconscious has been cultivating. In time, it stops offering you ideas altogether because you have trained it to expect inaction. On the other hand, every time you take bold, immediate steps toward your vision, you are reinforcing the programming that says, I act on opportunities. I am a creator, not a spectator. Action also has a feedback effect on your subconscious. When you act decisively, you experience results sometimes. Success, sometimes failure. But in both cases, your subconscious learns and refines its programming. A failure becomes valuable data. Showing your mind how to adjust a success becomes proof that your programming is effective. This loop of action and feedback is what turns vague intention into practical mastery. You must understand, wealth is never built in the realm of thought alone. It is born in thought, but it grows in the field of action. Your inner world must feed your outer behavior, and your outer behavior must validate your inner world. This is the true alignment when belief and behavior are no longer separate, but part of one seamless pattern. At this point, your subconscious is no longer something you try to influence. It becomes a partner in your every move, constantly guiding you toward the next step, the next opportunity, the next level of prosperity. Do not wait for perfect conditions. Do not wait for the fear to vanish. Do not wait for the plan to be flawless. The very act of moving forward creates the clarity, courage, and resources you thought you needed before you began. Your subconscious will support you fully only when it sees you are willing to commit, with action, not just words. So train your mind, yes. Reprogram your beliefs, yes. Repeat and emotionally imprint your vision, yes. But then act as if your wealth is inevitable. Because when your inner world and your daily steps walk in the same direction, it often is, the mind opens the door, but decisive action walks you through it.